Hi, everybody. It's Dan and Angela Clark.
Hi.
So, tonight we're going to talk about something that is near and dear to those of us who have been in a cult. And Dan was in the Worldwide Church of God, and I'm sorry, I was in the Worldwide Church of God, and Dan was he's an ex-Jehovah's
Might as well
Witness.
been in since she was in.
Obviously, I'm an ex-Worldwider, okay? So, for those of you who don't know, the Worldwide Church of God is similar in so crazy many ways.
Oh,
Aren't
yeah.
you agree,
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Dan, to the Jehovah's Witnesses? And we just added a little Jewish twist to the whole thing by actually keeping Jewish holy days and the Sabbath day and clean and unclean foods kind of a thing. And it was just added on to a Jehovah's Witness.
They couldn't do birthdays. They couldn't do Christmas. But they had things like food restrictions and a lot of other stuff added to it, like she said.
And our services are extremely similar. So anyway, I'm going to try to do a combination because you know what? We have very similar issues within our churches of growing up. And we just want to bring some of the one of these particular issues, which is about our ability to think and our ability to think things through and make decisions and our fear in doing so, and why do we struggle making decisions? So I like this book called Codependent No More by Melody Beatty, an amazing book, changed my life. Dan can attest to that.
Great book.
Really, really great.
Tools we should have learned a long time ago.
Yes, and I always say that too.
Yeah.
It's things we should have absolutely learned in school and church and really everywhere that we went. And
we wouldn't have got abused as much as we have in our lifetime if we'd have known these simple principles, really.
Oh, yeah. And this is just one tonight we're going to talk about, okay? But codependency is a real problem. I don't know why they chose to call it that, because it's really about a lack of being able to communicate properly in society, in your family, with your wife, with your mate, with your work people.
It's really about unhealthy codependency.
That's true.
Because we're in a codependent relationship. We're married. We have different things we do in the household. And so it's a codependent relationship. But what I call an unhealthy codependency is a little different, where she's abusing me or I'm abusing her in some way, which you'll find out when she reads. But we're really talking about unhealthy codependent relationships within the household.
Yeah, and it's more than that too. It's kind of like not knowing how to care for yourself, not knowing how to say no, trying to fix other people and get involved in their business. It goes on and on and on. Tonight we're talking about inability to think. So I'm going to read a little something from chapter 15 of this Codependent No More book, page 164 in there if you're interested. So this is what Melody Beatty says. For a variety of reasons, we may have lost our faith in our ability to think and reason things out. She says that this is due to believing lies, then lying to ourselves, or I'm going to say add in here, or being in denial about these lies, and also having lost our faith and ability to think due to chaos in our lives, stress, low self-esteem, which is born out of no ability to make decisions and feeling unsure about yourself, and so you shrink as a person, and a stomach full of repressed emotions that literally cloud our ability to think, she says. So we often will overreact to different situations in our life, and a lot of that is because we don't feel good about ourselves. We don't have a good confidence, and we don't trust ourselves. We don't trust, again, our ability to think and reason things out. And so we just kind of shrink as a person, and it's really sad. I know I absolutely had that problem to the point where eventually at times in my life, my voice has gotten really, really small. And I was afraid to make decisions. And I want to tell you one thing that happened to me one time. I was I guess I was in 7th grade. Third grade was the time when it was really bad. My dad, I sat in his lap and he's trying to help me figure out these fractions that we were learning, and I just wasn't getting it. And I think the reason why is because I feel things from people like energy, and I think I was sensing my dad didn't want to be helping me, and he was uptight that night, probably had a bad day at work, and I was feeling that, and so I was probably more focused on his emotions than I was on what he was telling me, trying to help me figure it out. And I just wasn't getting it. And so he finally he just said, I can't help you. I just can't help you. And he gets up from the chair abruptly and wouldn't help me. So from that moment on, I decided that I was stupid. And just because my dad decided I'm too stupid to be able to be helped. So I made up my mind that I was stupid right then and there. Can anybody relate to this?
Oh, yeah. Same thing.
You had that happen to you,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah. My dad thumped me on the back of the head when I was trying to figure out a math problem. He just kept hitting me on the back of the head like this, saying, God dang it, boy. God dang it, boy. You stupid. Geez, why can't you do this? I got this in third grade. I got this. And so, like you say, you just give up. So I did. I gave up in school. I barely graduated, with a D minus, and because I, like Angela, same thing. I thought I was stupid. I thought I was stupider than everybody else. That thought was put in my head, and it was actually beat into me too. And so I just accepted it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And so I did not deal with that. I just kind of, I don't know, I just didn't do well that whole rest of the season of math in that grading period. And when my report card came, it had a big fat F, failure. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I was completely in denial that I had just shut down completely, and probably just said I can't do it, and I just plain old didn't. And then when I got my grade, I was shocked. I shouldn't have been shocked. Absolutely not. But I was. F. I mean, an F? Really? Seriously? Anyway, obviously I was overreacting. So this next thing she talks about is overreacting to these situations can also impair our mental functioning. So see, that's a bummer. So we've gotten into an attitude or a habit of shutting down and not thinking, because like in my life, it was with my mother in particular, whenever I thought something or I just made a decision about something, she was always like causing me to not trust that, or that I was always somehow wrong, or that she knows better than me, and I could never trust that what I was feeling or seeing was correct. And so I think that kind of shut down my thinking. Plus, being in a cult, as we all have been, we learned, at least I learned, that if you try to go against anything they say, you're going to absolutely be in trouble and told that you're wrong and that that's wrong, and that you shouldn't be thinking that and you shouldn't be saying that. And, you just decide that, what, I just get myself in trouble by saying what I'm thinking and feeling. So, I just don't think I'm very smart. I think I can't think right, and I was told that I don't think right, that I twist things, all kinds of stuff like that. Come to not trust myself. Truth is, absolutely, I can think for myself and I can make good decisions, but I had to learn that. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Having to learn how to make your own decisions and choices. See, that's part of codependency. You don't even know what you like. Literally, when you're at the precipice of the whole thing, you find that you don't even know what you like. You don't know what you want. You don't know what you believe. It's a crazy thing.
All you're living in is the expectation that you can make this person happy. You're always thinking, how can I make them happy? How can I? You're not thinking. Like it says, you're not thinking. And so that's one thing me and Angela have done with each other, is we reinforce each other.
Yes.
So if she says something and somebody says, oh, that's stupid, or I'll say, no, that wasn't stupid. That was absolutely appropriate. You did the right thing. And we build each other up that way, because we got to reverse this. I'm dumb, I'm stupid, I'm, this shrinking down and all this stuff.
Yes, and to think about that, when I first got out of the second cult I was in, because I was in two cults, I remember Dan saying, no, Angela, you see that right? And it was like my mom was saying, I don't. And Dan was saying, absolutely, you're seeing that right. And absolutely, I would have done the same thing. And he backed me up. And again, he did that. And he made me realize that I can think for myself. And I am smart. And I do see it straight. And I am intuitive. But my mother, she always undermined my intuition. And I had to come to realize that she had been undermining my intuition. Not cool. But see, there we go. Now I'm worrying about what other people think. And that is one of the issues here, that worrying excessively about what other people think is also going to cloud your mind and make you not be able to, I don't know, you have to have a certain sense of self-esteem or confidence to be able to feel good about a decision that you've made. So when you're worrying about what other people think, and you're just so worried that they're not going to like it, or it wasn't good, or it wasn't good enough, or that you didn't do it perfectly, or anything like that, it makes you kind of shut down, and you can't think clearly. And so then you just muddle it all up, and everything comes out wrong, and then you feel more stupid. It just compounds the problem. So I want to just encourage you, because we were encouraged to not think. If you think you might get excommunicated, or in Dan's case, what do you call it? Disfellowshipped. Yep. So we have to relearn to think again. It's a crazy thing, guys, but you can learn to think again. And I definitely want to recommend studying about codependency. You can learn that in a 12-step group, Al-Anon, Codependency No More, which is rare to find a group called
That's
that.
where you can find these books too.
Yeah.
Because basically a codependent, in a lot of cases, are women or men who've been abused by alcoholics. So the alcoholic abuses them, lies to them, and completely disorients them. So in a lot of the 12 steps, like Al-Anon and stuff, women pick up these books so they know how to get their self back. Just like Angela's been saying, you got to get back to, I know who I am, I trust myself, because they'll have you paying attention to them and making sure that you do everything right, or else they'll abuse you. They'll tell you you're stupid, you're not enough. And so these books are amazing, and they're filled. So if you want one of these books, go to a 12-step, Al-Anon, Alcoholics Anonymous, any of those, and the tables are full of them, and they'll change your life.
Absolutely. So here's what will happen is because we then expect ourselves to be perfect in every way, and of course we're not gonna be able to do that. So we just get kind of more and more dysfunctional because we're so wanting to please. We became people pleasers. That's part of the codependency problem. Is that we're codependent in the people pleasing department in a very big way. That's usually a big fat problem. And so you want so desperately to be accepted and to be loved and cherished, and so you'll literally push yourself and force and speak inappropriately because you're so worried about doing it just perfectly, and that just makes us look crazy. And again, our confidence then is just going downhill.
And you're mainly just saying what you think they want you to hear.
Yeah.
Because you're proactive to their abuse. So you're thinking ahead of time, what can I say so that I don't get abused? Or you're acting in such a way so that you don't get abused. I better fix everything up before Dad gets home, or he'll knock hell out of me, or I better make sure Dad has a beer, or I better make sure whatever.
Yeah.
So you're always proactive, thinking, what can I do to be on the defense of this person. So it's not a good way to live. It's not a good way, always being reactive, always being proactive. What would you call it? Assessing, the situation. And that's why it's a negative codependent thing.
Yeah.
It's not healthy.
They call that something too, but it's like you're always anticipating the next move of the person. It's part of codependency.
Yeah.
Codependency started out with the Alcoholic Anonymous, which what it was is a woman who was dealing with her husband, and they would always like second guess ahead of time, like what might he say or what might he do, and she's always ahead of it so that she minimizes the problems, minimizes the yelling and the fighting, and minimizes anything that could go wrong. And so that's kind of where that all started. So we have that problem a lot of the times, you guys, because we're so afraid to make a wrong decision because that might get us in a whole lot of trouble or do something not perfectly. So she says, Melody Beatty says, we don't need to do this to ourselves, nor do we need to be hating on ourselves because we're not, quote, perfect. That's what the church expected out of us, right?
Yeah.
We have to be absolutely perfect in every way. We have to keep the laws just right, the rules just right, make sure everything's done just as they say about the sexual rules and, masturbation, whatever it is that we all learned. You better do it. You better do it perfectly, or you're toast. God, whatever, is so mad at you because you're a loser. I didn't keep the holy days. I didn't keep the Sabbath correctly. It just goes on and on, worrying about not doing everything perfectly and getting in trouble, making wrong choices. So you add all the shoulds to the whole thing, and you just are a big fat mess. So we're fearing, guilting, and shaming ourselves to death, which renders us powerless and frozen with fear. And we may choose to do nothing, which brings on more guilt and mental anguish and suffering. So, for example, you may have just needed to go and make a phone call that was really, really going to be important. It was going to change your life. But because you don't trust yourself, or because other people say, whatever you do is always stupid, or you're going to make the wrong choice, or you're going to make the wrong job choice, or whatever, you just freeze. And then you don't do anything. You don't make that phone call because, oh my God, what if I make a mistake? What if it's the wrong job? What if something goes wrong? What if they don't hire me? What if all these what ifs? And then we just get frozen because we've been told we're stupid. Well, we got to try to realize that, guess what? God didn't make stupid. He doesn't make stupid. He doesn't make junk. We are programmed to believe this, but it's not the truth of who we are. Not in any case is it the truth. I've got a relative right now who's got some certain issue in their life that makes that relative of mine feel like he's stupid or he's not like everybody else. But you know what? It's that I don't even believe that. I don't even believe that it's not true. Absolutely not. Yeah, there's some things that will have to be worked out, but that's it. I've had different kinds of issues and problems, but I worked it out. Everything is work outable because you know why? Because we are made in the image and likeness of God. He does not make stupid. We can figure it out. We can work around certain weaknesses, disabilities, whatever. We can work around them. So I really believe that, don't you, Dan?
Yes, absolutely.
So we might not take the job. We may not make a phone call. We might not do that thing that will really care for ourselves because we believe we can't, or that if we do, it'll be wrong. Second guessing ourselves. I've had that problem because of my programming and because of my mother in particular. My dad certainly had a lot to do with it too, but my mom in particular in my last, remembrances. So perhaps we lost our faith in our ability to think because people have told us we can't. That way we've already covered that. And our parents may have directly or indirectly done this when we were children. So you guys, if it's done when we're children, you know good and well that's a very set program now. It's ingrained, especially up to age 5 at least for sure, and 7 possibly. If you were taught that way, that you're kind of stupid, you can't make good decisions and choices, and all your decisions and choices are made for you by your parents because they believe that you don't know what's good for yourself, or or they make decisions. Everything's made for you, and you don't need to think. And again, if you do think, you just get in trouble anyway. So you're criticized. Maybe your parents criticized the choices you did make and said they weren't good enough ones, and then they chose, no, that's not going to work. No, we're going to do this instead. Or, Mom, I'd like to go here. Well, that's a dumb idea. I think we're going to go here. Do you see what I mean? It's like it's never good enough. So you just choose to believe that you're not good enough. You're more stupid than everyone else, and it's not true. I really believe that. I really did, and that it's just not right. So they may have denied us, or by refusing to acknowledge our ability to think. And when we pointed out our problem, specifically, Melody Beatty says this, we pointed out a problem in the home, and then we're told that, oh, you're not seeing that right, you're not thinking. Oh, that has actually happened to me. And I bet it's happened to you too, Dan.
Yep.
At least you've even experienced it in my own family, haven't you?
Yep.
So maybe we had difficulties in school. We talked about that. Instead of solving the problem that we had in school at a certain class that we were struggling in, instead of solving the problem, figuring out a way to solve it, we just simply gave up really quickly and told ourselves that we just can't think and figure things out like everyone else. Oh my goodness, Dan.
That's right.
That is it for this particular section. But Dan, any final thoughts about thinking for yourself?
No, it's just that, we just got to realize, I think a lot of us don't realize that this way of living in an unhealthy codependent, I think a lot of people think it's normal. I think that's the way they're supposed to be. And I know when I go into a lot of houses, I can tell if a woman is codependent, on her man, and she's scared to death, and she's making sure her I's are dotted and her T's are crossed, running all over,
nervous,
and the man's just sitting there like
anxious.
This, or vice versa. You can see it with the man, and in fear, living in fear. You can see it, and what Angela's wanted to say is she's gotten her voice back, she's gotten her mind back, and she's able to say no, and she's able to just be who she is. And I think that's the most beautiful thing. I think the world needs us to show up, not codependent, not fearful, not worried, not just living for the other person and the other person. You know what I mean? It's so unhealthy. we want to see the real person. You want to see the real me, not the fearful me, the codependent me. Am I right? Am I doing right? I hope I said it right. I hope you forgive me. You know,
I
all
hope you
this.
still love me.
Yeah.
You know, I hope you like me. You know,
Yeah, it's horrible.
We got to quit worrying about what other people think. It's screw it, guys.
And so
you just be yourself, right? And I want to mention one other thing. You just made me think of something. It had to do with you're getting your voice. So here's what'll happen, because us women are told and trained to believe that the man is the head of the house, and we're to be submissive and quiet and all of that. A lot of the time, because of that belief, we don't speak up. Because, well, we may have been told to shut up, woman, or you've heard your dad say that to your own mom, right, Dan?
Yep.
And so we learn how to be too meek, too mild, too weak. And so, unfortunately, guys, this is something I had to learn. Very important. When us women have our voice too small, and you may have people point out to you, what? If you start hearing a lot of people say, what'd you say? I don't hear you, or just ignoring you completely, probably it's because your voice is so small, which means you think that small of yourself that they don't even hear you anyway, or it's too squeaky weak for them to even pay attention to you. They just have a disrespect for you. You know what? We don't deserve that, us women, you women. We deserve to have our voice, and we're just as important as everyone else. I literally have seen where a woman is to act like a child. They're to be seen and not heard. That's the submissiveness I'm talking about, and it's very unhealthy, and it will get you abused. And that's what I wanted to say. When we have a voice that's too small, then people think we're weak automatically. Oh, weakness. Oh, I can control that, and they do. And so we've got to get our voice to the point that we're strong. And if I believe in submission to my husband, I do, but there's a point where it's not okay. If there's any disrespect involved, or if I feel lesser than him, it's not normal, and it's not okay.
And I just want to say too, who wants to? I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
But who wants to be? You know, what we don't realize is when you're living with somebody who resents you, that ain't good. Like if I was that man and Angela was that weak woman, and I was this domineering spirit, she would be filled with resentment, which means that wouldn't be good making love. That wouldn't be good when she cooks. You know, I have to say, you know, the food's going to taste better if a woman prepares it and she loves making her food. But what if she's in there stirring the food and just throwing it around, and because she's so full of resentment? Or, you know, she's talking to the neighbors next door, I'm being abused, he's a, butthole, and, it's horrible. Yeah. So this gets rid of resentment, unconscious resentment. In fact, Angela wrote a book on it.
Yeah, I did, and it's going to come out really soon. I put it out for a minute.
What's it called?
Awakening from unconscious resentment. That's what it's called.
And it's about these worlds we live in. The book cover has two people back to back.
And their arms are folded, they're like mad at each other.
And it's so true.
It really is.
We see this in house after house after house. We work in households, and we're like, oh my God, they're so miserable in there.
I know.
And they don't even know it. They've gotten used to this. So what Angela's bringing out here is really a treasure chest. It's a treasure chest of tools, and this is just one she talked about tonight.
And can I just mention one other thing? I wanted to give you one other tool that's pertaining to this. So let's just say that you had a thought of an idea of something that you wanted to do, okay? A choice, a decision of something you could do with your time. And the thought came in that, it was a desire, really. I just feel like I want to go for a walk down the river. I really, really do. I feel like I need to do that. Guess what? I want to just tell you right now. If you have a thought like that, it's coming from God, okay? It's coming from the Holy Spirit, whatever. And you really, really need to pay attention to it. But see, our codependency can get so sick and so messed up that we think to ourselves, no, I can't do that. That's selfish. There's no time for that. Truthfully, there's never time for that, right? And so, they're going to expect me to this and that. And besides, he's going to be here soon. And I got to do this, I got to do that. There's no time for that. No. And it's always that way. Always that way. No. When you have a thought like that, it's because you need that. And God is feeling that you need that. And if you would just obey it or follow it and go take that walk along the river, then when you come back, you're going to be refreshed. Because when you're taking a walk, that's when God talks to you. And you don't know that he's talking to you, but thoughts are coming in your mind. Things are clearing up. Things are organizing. You're breathing. You're seeing the birds. You're getting in touch with God, who's with you and in you. And so when you do that, then when you come home, you have clear mind. You figured out what you needed to do about whatever. You realize that you're being abused in that situation and that you need to do this or you need to do that. You need to stand up and say, I'm sorry, I am not going to allow you to talk to me in that tone of voice. That is not cool, and it makes me feel lesser than, and please don't talk to me in that tone of voice again. Things like that. Learning how to deal with your children, how you're going to deal with the situation. It all comes to you when you're taking the walk. But see, if you don't take the walk, then your brain is all, bound up. That chaos and confusion and stress and resentment, repressed resentment, all down in there, bottled up, and we don't think clearly. We don't think clearly of what to do, and that's the whole idea of this. Why it's important to think, but you can't think if you're all bound up. So the idea is you need to get alone more. You need to get in the bathroom at the very least, shut the door, run the faucet, and just breathe. And just get in attunement with God. And you could say this, be still and know that I am God. Say it over and over again. Be still and know that I am God. You'll start getting goosebumps. Say it again. Be still and know that I am God. I got goosebumps all over just saying it right now. And just breathe, deep breathe. And then just ask a quick little prayer. And then go out and just see how differently you handle everything. It's crazy. But we need to take these little short walks, a little drive, a little time in the bathroom. A hot bath could work. A shower could work. Anything to just kind of rinse off and let things flow. Water helps a lot. That's why washing, taking a hot bath, taking a shower will refresh your mind, literally. So anyway, I just want to encourage you to do that. And then women, when you feel like your voice is too small, ask God to give you his power and his authority. I literally will do that when I'm feeling I'm in a tough situation and I'm feeling weak. And, I'll say, Lord, I'm about ready to go into a tough situation here. It might be a tough conversation. I'm a little nervous. Lord, would you give me your power and your authority? Would you put it upon me? And as a woman, we absolutely have a right to ask that. And guess what? God will deliver if you believe he will. Oh my gosh, will he ever deliver? And you will be sharp. You will be clear. You'll have some authority that you didn't know that you had. It just comes right out just for the asking. I'm telling you, this works. So with that and the breathing, I hope that's some tools. Asking, you'll receive, like Dan said in a video with his daughter yesterday. Ask for whoever you want to ask anything from. If you believe that angels will help you, then ask the angels. If you believe Jesus will help you, I don't care. The Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call God. Ask, knock, seek, and you will find, you will be guided, you will be given help. And you can get through this and you can overcome this thinking problem that you might be having because of your programming.
And your life will never be the same.
No.
It'll be better. Wonderful.
You have to learn. It's the art of learning. You have to learn this art of learning how to think.
So this is the beginning of more tools you're going to be sharing?
Yep. So this is one of the ones I talked about yesterday in a group, and I wanted to share it with you guys because this is from our upbringing and these cults we've been involved in. It's going to apply to the Mormons, Seventh-day Adventists, anybody, because this is pretty similar, isn't it, Dan, across the board.
Yep.
And society didn't teach it either. So anyway, that's it. We love you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
We hope you have a wonderful day, and you take care, okay? All right. Over and out. Good night.